Morrison Nyathi, also known as Maurice Nyathi and Livison Matasa, stands as one of the most infamous figures in Zimbabwe's liberation history, a collaborator whose actions led to devastating consequences for his fellow Africans during the Rhodesian Bush War, 1964 to 1979. Also known as the Second Kimurenga or Zimbabwe War of Independence, Nyathi's betrayal, driven by complex motivations, facilitated catastrophic massacres that targeted vulnerable Zimbabwean refugees and freedom fighters, marking him as a symbol of treachery in Zimbabwean memory. His actions, motivations, death, and the potential fate of his descendants reveal a story of personal ambition, coercion, and the profound impact of betrayal on a nation's struggle for freedom. During Zimbabwe's War of Liberation, Nyathi initially served as a member of the Zimbabwe African National Liberation Army, ZANLA, the military wing of Robert Mugabe's Zimbabwe African National Union, ZANU. As a ZANLA fighter, he rose to the rank of camp commander at Nyadzonya, a refugee and training camp in Mozambique, demonstrating high-level military skills that earned him respect among his peers. However, Nyathi's trajectory took a dark turn when he became a double agent for the Rhodesian security forces, specifically the elite Selous Scouts, a counterinsurgency unit notorious for its brutal tactics against African liberation movements. Nyathi's collaboration involved providing critical intelligence to the Rhodesians, enabling them to plan and execute cross-border raids into Mozambique, where ZANLA operated bases. His insider knowledge of ZANLA's operations, camp layouts, and routines made him an invaluable asset to the Rhodesian forces, who sought to undermine the growing strength of Zimbabwean guerrilla fighters. This betrayal culminated in one of the most horrific episodes of the war. The Nyadzonya raid, also known as Operation Eland, on August 9, 1976. Nyathi's actions directly facilitated two devastating massacres in Mozambique, with the Nyadzonya raid being the most documented and catastrophic. On that fateful day, Nyathi led a Rhodesian Selous Scouts unit, consisting of 84 soldiers, including both black and white operatives disguised in Frelimo, Mozambique Liberation Front uniforms, to the Nyadzonya camp, located 40 kilometers from the Rhodesian border. The attacking column used vehicles painted in Frelimo colors and equipped with Frelimo license plates to bypass Mozambican sentries, who saluted them as they passed. Upon reaching the camp at 8:25 a.m., Nyathi's intimate knowledge of ZANLA protocols proved deadly. He blew an emergency whistle, a signal that prompted approximately 4,000 guerrillas, refugees, and civilians, including untrained youths and children, to assemble on the parade ground, expecting a routine muster. As the crowd gathered, a Rhodesian soldier announced in Shona, "Zimbabwe Tadora. We have taken Zimbabwe," inciting cheers from the unsuspecting crowd. At Nyathi's signal, the Selous Scouts opened fire at point-blank range, unleashing a barrage of gunfire from armored vehicles, including those equipped with 20mm Hispano cannons. The massacre was relentless, with the Rhodesians continuing to shoot until no movement remained on the parade ground. Estimates vary, but the raid resulted in the deaths of over 1,000 people, with some sources reporting up to 600 fatalities and 500 injuries, while others cite even higher numbers. A second massacre, likely the Kimoyo attack in November 1977, Operation Dingo, saw similar tactics and resulted in an estimated 1,200 to 3,000 deaths, though Nyathi's direct involvement in this raid is less explicitly documented. These attacks targeted not only trained guerrillas but also vulnerable populations, including women, children, and refugees seeking safety in Mozambique. The Nyadzonya camp, in particular, housed many who had fled Rhodesian oppression, making Nyathi's betrayal a profound violation of trust that amplified the human toll. The massacres dealt significant blows to ZANLA's morale and operational capacity, instilling fear in refugee communities and disrupting the liberation movement's momentum. Nyathi's motivations for collaborating with the Rhodesians are complex, rooted in a mix of personal grievances, ambition, and possible coercion. Historical accounts suggest that Nyathi's disloyalty stemmed from disciplinary issues within ZANLA. According to Fei Chung's memoir, Reliving the Second Kimurenga, Nyathi was accused of extorting money from local peasants and engaging in inappropriate behavior with women freedom fighters, actions that violated ZANLA's strict code of conduct. These transgressions led to his demotion and punishment, which included beatings and detention at Nyadzonya's detention camp. Nyathi reportedly expressed a desire to abandon the liberation struggle during this period, a sentiment that may have been dismissed by his comrades but foreshadowed his betrayal. Humiliated and resentful, Nyathi likely saw collaboration with the Rhodesians as a path to personal gain or revenge. The Rhodesian Selous Scouts were known for turning captured or disaffected guerrillas, offering financial incentives, protection, or amnesty to those who provided intelligence. Lieutenant Colonel R.F. Reid-Daly, founder of the Selous Scouts, described Nyathi as a brave man and a well-educated individual who played a pivotal role in the Nyadzonya raid, suggesting that the Rhodesians valued his cooperation highly. It's plausible that Nyathi was coerced or enticed with promises of wealth or safety, especially given the Rhodesians' desperate need for insider information to counter ZANLA's growing strength. Additionally, Nyathi's actions may reflect the broader dynamics of the Rhodesian Bush War, where the Rhodesian regime exploited divisions within African communities to weaken the liberation movement. The war pitted ZANLA and ZIPRA, Zimbabwe People's Revolutionary Army, aligned with Joshua Komu's ZAPU, against each other and against the Rhodesian forces, creating opportunities for betrayal. Nyathi's decision to align with the Selous Scouts, a unit trained in unconventional warfare and preemptive strikes, suggests he was motivated by a combination of personal vendetta and the allure of aligning with a powerful force against his former comrades. Nyathi's betrayal did not go unpunished. After Zimbabwe's independence in 1980, he was identified and apprehended by ZANLA comrades in Mbeere, a township in Harare. According to accounts from war veterans like CDE Batsarai Gondo, Nyathi was captured while brazenly walking the streets, seemingly unrepentant for his actions. He was transported to the Goromanzi Assembly Point, a post-independence gathering site for former fighters, aboard a Mushesh bus filled with comrades eager to confront him. Upon arrival, Nyathi faced intense interrogation and retribution. Veterans recall questioning him about his motives, asking, "Why did you cause the death of comrades at Nyadzonya? How much did the enemy give you to commit such a heinous act?" The response was brutal. Nyathi was severely beaten and dealt with in what was described as a party, a euphemism for extrajudicial punishment. While the exact details of his death remain sparse, it is widely believed that Nyathi was executed by ZANLA fighters as retribution for his role in the Nyadzonya massacre. This act of justice, while satisfying to those who had lost comrades, reflects the raw emotions and unresolved trauma of the liberation struggle. Nyathi's punishment was swift and severe, underscoring the deep sense of betrayal felt by Zimbabweans who viewed him as a traitor responsible for the deaths of thousands. There is little documented information about Morrison Nyathi's descendants, as his infamy likely led to their obscurity or deliberate concealment to avoid stigma. In Zimbabwean culture, the legacy of a traitor can cast a long shadow over a family, potentially forcing descendants to relocate, change their names, or live quietly to escape retribution or social ostracism. The lack of public records about Nyathi's family suggests that any descendants may have distanced themselves from his legacy, possibly emigrating to neighboring countries like South Africa or Mozambique, where many Zimbabweans sought refuge during and after the war. Given the intensity of ZANLA's retribution and the public vilification of Nyathi, described as a Morrison Nyathi incarnate in later comparisons to other perceived sellouts, it's likely that his family faced significant challenges in post-independence Zimbabwe. The absence of Nyathi's name on the Selous Scouts' roll of honor or nominal roll, despite his celebrated role in their accounts, indicates that even the Rhodesians did not formally acknowledge him as one of their own, leaving his legacy in a liminal space of condemnation on both sides. If Nyathi had children or close relatives, they may have faced economic hardship, social exclusion, or the need to reinvent their identities in a nation that reveres its liberation heroes and reviles its traitors. Morrison Nyathi's betrayal had a profound impact on Zimbabwe's liberation struggle. The Nyadzonya and potential Chimoio massacres not only killed thousands but also sowed fear and distrust among ZANLA fighters and refugees, weakening the movement at a critical juncture. The raids highlighted the vulnerability of camps in Mozambique and prompted increased militarization of the liberation effort, as ZANLA sought to bolster its defenses against future Rhodesian incursions. Politically, the Nyadzonya raid strained relations between Rhodesia and South Africa, with the latter withdrawing covert military support after the attack's diplomatic fallout, pressuring Rhodesian Prime Minister Ian Smith to consider majority rule. Nyathi's name remains synonymous with treachery in Zimbabwe, as evidenced by comparisons to later figures like Ambrose Mutant-Hairai, accused of betraying the nation in 2018. His story serves as a cautionary tale about the consequences of collaboration in the face of colonial oppression, reflecting the complex interplay of personal ambition, coercion, and loyalty in a brutal war. While the exact fate of his descendants remains unknown, the weight of Nyathi's actions likely continues to shape their lives in subtle but significant ways, a lingering reminder of the cost of betrayal in Zimbabwe's hard-fought journey to independence.